Hey, we're recording, Will.
Uh-oh.
Welcome to That's Good Sports Podcast. Will Keys here with me, Brandon Perna, ready to whisper sweet, sweet football somethings into your ears. Just a warning, usually Will and I prepare for a podcast. Today, not as much as normal. We're both a little pressed for time today.
You can just say that it was me. It's fine.
Well, that's all right. I'm
like 95.
I'm trying to.
Hey, we'll see how good we are at improving, because usually we script every single word that we say.
Yeah. We write out an hour and 20-minute podcast script.
It's like NPR. It's like when NPR does their podcast.
Right.
It takes me 4 months to produce a 15-minute podcast on the election.
That's right. Well, you use plackers too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
They rule.
I've been a floss placker for a long time, Will.
Honestly, who has the time to unfurl a big thing of floss, tie it around your fingers?
No, that's the part that sucks, is tying it around your fingers and then.
And what are you supposed to do? Put it in your mouth? Put your fingers in your mouth? No, thank you.
Yeah, don't ever put your fingers in your mouth.
I've got a weird anecdote from. That's what you're supposed to do on podcasts, right? Just lead in with a personal story.
Yeah, I mean, you're supposed to do anything that's entertaining, which is still the area we're trying to figure out.
I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah, give me your antidote.
On Halloween night, I was about 97 beers deep, and I was walking home at a fairly unreasonable hour of the night, and I saw the Uber prices, and it was like $30. And I was like, no, that's okay. And so I walked back 25 blocks, not too bad. But I got really bored, and then I basically listened to all the podcasts on my phone, so I had nothing really new. And then I was listening to another one, and it ran out halfway through. Not my battery, the podcast had finished. And so the only one I had was this podcast. And so I was walking around, and I didn't have headphones. So I was walking through downtown Sacramento, listening to my own podcast at full volume.
That's badass. I like that a lot.
An insane person, but I didn't have any other options.
That's really funny. That's well, if you're ever in rehab for alcohol abuse, you're gonna look back at that as your rock bottom.
That's probably.
I was at my lowest when I was walking around downtown Sac listening to my own podcast without headphones. How vain of me.
Because I hate those people that listen to music without
headphones.
Oh, earphones. But there really weren't that many people out, so I didn't feel that bad.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Did you take anything away from our podcast?
I don't remember a single word of it.
Yeah. Every now and then, when I'm trying to find a clip from an old episode, because I don't ever rewatch my shit.
No, neither
do
I.
But when I try to find a clip sometimes, and I can't remember what part of an episode or what episode it is, I end up having to watch some of our stuff. Sometimes I'm like, oh, fuck, that was not good. And other times I'm like, dang, that was a really good joke. And I was just curious to see if you had felt like the podcast was any good when you're listening to it super drunk.
We always, you never know what people think is funny.
No.
Sometimes the jokes you feel the worst about end up being big hits.
Yeah, which is a good segue into my hater comment of the week.
Yes.
Which this came from Tyson Silver. And the worst ones are all, like we've talked about, are always the ones where they say how much they like the show and then tell you something sucked, which this one is. Now, to set up what happened, Will and I were working on the episode that had the Chargers maybe moving to London thing, and I had started to write a joke about the Chargers are second fiddle in Los Angeles to the Rams, and I was like, I set it up with what's worse than being second fiddle? And then I said third fiddle. And I didn't know where I was going to go with that joke. And then Will just came in and just put fourth fiddle and fifth fiddle. And I was like, that might be the funniest way to go. So when I shot the episode, I just kept going with fiddles.
Yeah, I was like, when is this gonna end? Because I watched it.
I could have kept going, but I went to 18, and somebody thought that was really funny, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm glad they like that joke. And then so I used that clip on Twitter, and Tyler Silver was like, that joke went on about 30 seconds too long and made me have to click away from the video. The video is less than 2 minutes long, by the way. That hurt. I love your content, but that's the first time I have actually cringed. So, don't know. You just don't know, Will.
You really never know. Tyson, I'm sorry you had to go through that.
Sorry, Tyson.
I'm sorry we put you through that, and I hope you're recovering nicely.
I do too. But I still stand by that joke. I will gladly do it again.
And we will.
We will. Just like we reference how many kids Rivers has basically once a week.
Oh, yeah, we beat it into the ground. Yeah, who would have known that? I thought beating off was just a throwaway line, and now it's putting my kids through college. That's
right. That's right. Beating off. Big dick player, like these
Not
things.
Not as many kids as Philip Rivers has to put through college, but a sizable amount nonetheless.
That is tying it together. Now, we asked for suggestions also in the last podcast because on this YouTube channel, if you're watching it, we've partnered with Blue Wire. That transition is happening. You're going to start seeing more podcasts here. But somebody was like, make these shorter. And today you're going to get your wish, buddy.
You are. Hopefully. Because God knows we get off track.
Yeah. First, though, okay, couple news stories, and then we'll get into our game predictions. I believe we are even again on the predictions, so we're still neck and neck.
Yeah.
But today, and I'm working on a video for this on the main channel, but Antonio Brown posted on both Instagram and Twitter basically saying fuck, and then he added the NFL. So Instagram, okay. Also, AB was scheduled to meet with the NFL on Thursday to discuss his civil suits against him for the sexual assault and rape allegations. So he was supposed to get a chance to clear that up. And then today, for some reason, he thought it would be a good time to say, fuck the at NFL, I'm going down another path. No more making money off my blood and sweat. No more control of my name and body. Clear my name as I am done with it so you fantasy fucks can let it go.
That is pretty funny, calling them fantasy fucks.
Yeah. And then on Twitter, he wrote, imagine conforming to a system, giving it 100% to see them treat me like this is unfairly. Yes, unfairly. Making money off my sweat and blood. Fuck the at NFL. I'll never play in that shit. Treat black people the worse. Clear my name and go fuck yourself. So, do you think that NFL still meets with him on Thursday?
I mean, they have to, right?
I don't know. I mean, Ian Rappaport basically said that it looks like they'll still meet, assuming AB shows up. But I don't know how much we need to get into this, but I did want to update on him doing that right before he had a chance to clear his name or try to clear his name.
Right. The great thing is that he's still so talented that the Seahawks almost picked him up last week.
Yeah, a week ago, the Seahawks are looking into Antonio Brown. They decided on Josh Gordon.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what AB is upset about. I don't know.
Probably. He's upset about everything. Another wide receiver who wants to return to the NFL is Dez Bryant, who said that he is going to reach out to teams in 2 weeks. So, Brandon, my question for you is, what playoff team would you want to put Dez Bryant on? It has to be a playoff team because at this point, we're trying to
yeah.
That's what it's all about in November and December.
Is that why he's waiting 2 weeks, too?
I don't know. I think he's just trying to get up to game speed.
He just decided to start training his body that's probably still in peak physical condition.
Yeah.
Well, the interesting thing is last year around this time, Dez Bryant, didn't he sign with the Saints, right?
He did.
They needed receiver help, and then I don't think he ever played with them. The Seahawks, they just add Josh Gordon, so I don't think Seattle needs him. And Tyler Lockett's really good, and DK Metcalf's playing really well with Seattle. There's everybody saying the Patriots, right? That he'll go to the Patriots. I mean, don't put anything past New England, but
Yeah, I mean, it feels like
I don't know if
think there's anything to be added necessarily at wide receiver because they threw the ball to Mohamed Sanu 10 times.
yeah, they made their play. They've got
They
Edelman.
upgraded.
I mean, we're still waiting for Gronk to unretire and join them.
Right.
So 49ers added Emmanuel Sanders already.
Yeah, I think they're probably set too. I mean, I feel like I put everybody on the Bills, but I would put Dez Bryant on the Bills just because I feel like they're a team that's gonna need a few more big plays out of their offense. It gives Josh Allen, who's not the most accurate quarterback in the world, a bigger target.
I like that.
Nice catch radius. I feel like I just put everyone on the Bills, but I like the Bills, so
I think that's a good
let's get
fit.
them in the playoffs.
I think like that is a team where it feels like Cole Beasley does a lot of the work at wide receiver. And the one thing Dez Bryant has always been like best at is red zone jump ball. Just throw it up and let him fucking catch it. So yeah, I could see that. Maybe it depends like whatever's going on with – is Brandon Cooks the one that's in concussion protocol or keeps having injury issues with the Rams?
Yeah.
Maybe the Rams. I don't know.
Poor bastard. That would make sense.
Like, I saw today that Cooper Kupp leads the league in yards after contact or some shit or catch.
Right. He doesn't really do any of the same things that those receivers do because you think about Robert Woods, Brandon Cooks, and Cooper Kupp. They're all pretty shifty.
Yeah, it just feels like they have like
Bryant's
three
a
slot
straight line
receivers.
guy.
Yeah.
And then Josh Reynolds, who's a little more of an X-style receiver traditionally. But yeah, they could use a receiver too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much football Dez has in him. Him and DT, their careers both really kind of just
went off a cliff.
Faded at the same time. They both got paid at the same time. They can't.
Yeah, DT's better.
Kind of odd. Okay, last thing I wanted to talk about before we go through all the games. Mitch Trubisky. He wanted all the televisions to be turned off at the Bears facility. He said something like, "There's too many people talking about the Bears who don't know what's going on. Just needed to turn off the TVs, turn out the noise, put on earmuffs or some shit." So what I want to ask you, Will, is do you think Mitch Trubisky crossed a line by insulting television?
Yeah, I would. You don't say a cross word about television.
Yeah, you don't turn the TVs off. Mitch.
I know the television raised both you and I.
Yeah.
And that's like, that's like saying something bad about your own mother.
That's right. I learned the facts of life by watching the facts of life.
I watched the facts of what? Wait, fuck. I learned the facts of life from watching Full House.
Cable guy.
Is that a line from that?
Uh-huh.
What's his name in that? Ricky Ricardo. That's an underrated movie. It gets kind of
Cable Guy's good. It's very good dark. Movie. It's probably a little bit accurate.
It's got Jack Black before he became Jack Black in kind of an un-Jack Black-y role.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, I feel like the TV should have been turned off anyways. Like, why would you – like, are they sitting around watching First Take? Is this why their offense sucks? Because they're watching around the horn instead of going through, like, installations and stuff?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think if everybody were talking bad about me on TV, I would demand that it be turned off at my work as well. Mitch is receiving all of the criticism for the Bears' problems, and he deserves a lot of it. Like, he's just not playing well. It's I don't know. That's you got to have a good quarterback. Got to play good quarterback football if you want to be good quarterback football.
All right, thank you, Terry Bradshaw.
You're welcome. Speaking of Terry Bradshaw, did you see Chris Carter got let go from Fox Sports, And
I did not. What
sounds
happened?
like he was angry that he wasn't asked to fill in for Terry Bradshaw on Thursday night broadcast. And so
Did Terry Bradshaw step down?
no, I just think he couldn't do it for a night or something.
Oh.
And they had somebody else fill in, and I guess he deleted some tweets criticizing Fox or some shit. I don't know. There's a lot of wide receiver news this week.
Yeah, that's
Wide receivers who aren't in the league news.
That's by far the worst pregame show is Fox.
Oh, man.
Kurt,
Yeah.
Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy.
Yeah, I watched it. I forget which one I watched, but I was like, I agree. I concur. It was not good. Oh, yeah, it was before the Broncos-Chiefs game.
Oh, yeah.
And yes, the Broncos lost, so whatever. They were kind of right. But they essentially hired Colin Cowherd to do a 2-minute segment where he just shat on the Broncos. It was just him ripping everything about it. I was like, how does this get like approved? This, I don't know. It made me mad. It made me very mad.
Yeah, they have the only thing I like on that network is Lock It In, their gambling show.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Sal and the host of that show is the love of my life, and I'll just leave it at that.
Oh.
She's like
Oh, it's a she.
She's like my Kay Adams. You have your Kay Adams. I have my fantasy sports talk show host woman.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'll research her after this.
Oh, you will.
And then I'll send her fake messages as you.
Oh, maybe she'll respond.
Yeah, I'll be a good wingman.
We've got a lot of buys this week, which is kind of nice for us.
Yeah, it's 3 less games to cover basically this week.
And you don't have to do a video for
and I don't have to do a full Broncos recap.
Broncos, yeah. Although we could review the bye week, see how they did.
Win.
Yeah, obviously we've got the Broncos on bye, the Texans as well, our future AFC West rival, the Houston Texans.
Right.
The Jacksonville Jaguars, who are starting Nick Foles at quarterback, the New England Patriots. You got stomped by the Ravens. The Eagles and the W-word Redskins all have a Week 10 bye. So
That's right.
leaves just 1, 2, 3, 4,
13 games?
26 teams are playing this week.
Oh, real quick.
Yeah.
With the Texans, the AFC West thing.
Right.
One joke of yours that I thought was really good was the no-fly zone one about the Iranian airspace flying to London, no-fly zone thing. But then I thought, because the other joke was nothing says London like Texas or something, right? Nothing says London like Texas. But then I thought with Brexit, isn't Texas a lot like England in that they both want to basically be their own country?
Right.
Maybe
the most like
England already was its own country, but
it's his own country. Yeah. It's just.
But you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean. Yeah, they want to break apart from the union.
Okay.
Technically, the United States is a union.
Ah, see, yeah, and Texas wants to be its own thing. And
yes.
So that was. I couldn't figure out a quick, good way to write that in, so I didn't. But I wanted you to know that's where my head was at.
Thank you for explaining it to everybody that
you're welcome.
Didn't know what was going on. The point is we don't want to play Deshaun Watson 2 fucking times a year.
Nah, he's getting stronger every week.
No, please let us have whoever the Chargers start after Phillip Rivers. Probably someone really shitty. But speaking of those Chargers, they're playing tonight at the Coliseum. It's the last primetime game in the stadium's history.
Yes. Big.
Until they move back in 2 years, most likely. So we've got a 4-4 team against a 4-5 team. The Chargers, they're turning things around a little bit. They won their last 2 games against the Bears and the Packers. Really impressive game last week against Green Bay. Raiders also had an impressive win against an NFC North opponent, beating the Lions at home. Who do we want to lose this game more?
Yeah, this is tough. Do I think the Broncos have a chance? No. But as a fan, you're always looking at which team can we catch. So I kind of want the Raiders to win and give the Chargers their 6th loss, because then with the win, the Broncos and the Chargers are tied. But I never, ever want to see the Raiders win. It's really this is a tough one for me, man.
Yeah. I mean, I mostly like having them if they're going to win, I want them to do really well and then have all of their hopes and dreams pulled out from underneath them immediately, which we did see in 2016, which, I didn't want Derek Carr to break his leg or anything, but it was very funny that they had to start Connor Cook in a playoff game. Objectively hilarious that they had to do that. But I think I'm going to root for the Raiders tonight.
Ooh.
I have I have kind of a personal affinity for the Oakland Coliseum, not just because of the Raiders games, because of the Oakland A's. Yeah, sure, why not? They get, have your little day, have your party.
This is the closest thing they might get to a Super Bowl.
Probably,
right?
Yes.
Okay. Who?
Chiefs.
You're gonna pick the Raiders to win?
Yeah, picking the wait. No. That was who I want to see win. I'm gonna take heavens no. I'm gonna take the Chargers.
Okay. Who
are you taking?
I think I'm gonna take the Raiders.
Okay.
I gotta gain some ground. I'll take the Raiders.
Yeah, we were a little too similar last week.
Yeah.
How about the Kansas City Chiefs at the Tennessee Titans? Waiting for Patrick Mahomes to get back. He might play. He might not. I think it would be just colossally stupid if they played him in this game. You beat the Vikings last week with Matt Moore, who he's as good as Patrick Mahomes, if not better.
Fair enough.
That throw to Tyreek Hill was more impressive than anything I've ever seen Patrick Mahomes do. The question is, I think the Chiefs are going to win this game, regardless of who plays quarterback. The question is there a quarterback controversy in Kansas City?
Yes, and it is between Matt Moore and then the other guy coming back.
Chad
Henne.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
you got to give Chad Henne a look at some point, right?
You got to play Henne. You got to play Henne against Tennessee.
Yep. Because it almost rhymes with the Tennessee.
Tennessee. Ooh, yep. Chad Henne in Tennessee. Now that's where he needs to be a backup.
He's been in the league for 10,000 years.
Yeah, I remember when I thought Chad Henne might be the Dolphins' answer at quarterback.
Yeah, they thought so too.
And then they thought Matt Moore was going to be their lifetime backup.
He's just too much of a meathead. Have you seen the size of his head? It's all
Matt Moore's head is huge.
No. Chad Henne.
Oh, I think they both have huge heads.
They're both pretty big. Yeah, Matt Moore looks angry all the time, but Chad Henne
face just looks
stupid. Like he puts his helmet on and his face is all scrunched up because his cheeks and his big head just can barely fit into the largest helmet they have.
That would be a good
funny looking guy
to do sometime, to see which player, once they put their helmet on, makes them look like they lost the most IQ points. Yes, that would be fun. I can tell you Jay Cutler was definitely because he looks kind of stupid off the field, especially his rookie year. Because he's a little chubby and had dumb hair. But once he put on his helmet, he looked like the coolest player in the NFL. You got the opposite there? Yeah. Made him look badass? I think so. We'll save that for an episode. I'll take the Chiefs, though. Okay, we're both taking the Chiefs. All right, how about the Bills at the Browns? For some reason, Cleveland is they're favored by 3 at home. That's what I saw. You can double-check it. I never double-check my work.
I believe you.
I don't know why they're favored at home.
Everybody keeps waiting for the Browns to turn it around. The announcers, Kevin Harlan and Rich Gannon, were talking about the Browns last week they're on the verge of a playoff run. That was a 2-5 football team. Broncos don't get that credit. They were a half game ahead of the Broncos, who now have a better record. I give me the Bills. This is stupid.
I like the Bills too, because what's the strength of the Bills? Their defense. What's the weakness of the Browns? Anything they're trying to do on offense.
Really anything. Yeah.
I think
you get Kareem Hunt back.
Is he going to play this week?
Sounds like he's going to be in a limited role.
Interesting.
Which I think is actually going to help them because they don't really have anybody behind Nick Chubb, and they want to, they should just run Nick Chubb into the ground. But
yeah, and I think that's going to be hard to do.
Really valuable third down back.
Yeah, running against Buffalo's tough. I think their defensive front is kind of like their strength. So unless Baker turns it around this week, unless it's the actual week, like I see this being a sloppy game that the Bills win. And Josh Allen's playing smarter football than Baker Mayfield right now. So I like the Bills. I got to believe in the Bills.
Bills. All right. Cardinals at Buccaneers. Bucks are favored by 4.5.
Yeah.
At home.
My note here, sneaky fun game to watch, Will.
I think you're right. I just want to put it out there that I hate watching the Buccaneers. Jameis Winston just aesthetically is not pleasing to my eyes to watch play quarterback. The uniforms are god-awful. This is a god-awful uniform matchup. Maybe as bad as what we saw last week in Denver. I hate the stadium. I hate the way the light shines. It just reminds you – it makes you hungover watching that team in that stadium. So, for that reason, I am going to take the Cardinals.
Ooh. I'm going to take Tampa Bay.
I've taken all road teams here.
Yeah, I'm going to take Tampa Bay at home. They can score a lot of points. So I think Arizona's defense will continue to be a liability. I just saw somebody posted like a tweet with Emmanuel Sanders just burning Patrick Peterson over and over again. And I think Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, they're going to be too much for the Cardinals.
Okay.
But what I think is going to happen is a lot of touchdowns are going to happen in this game by both teams.
Good. That is good. Yeah, the Cardinals are a fun team to watch, I think.
And we need to see Shaq Barrett get back onto the national radar with like a 2 or 3 sack game.
He petered out a little bit. Still got 10.5 sacks, I think.
Yeah, he's not going to hit 40 sacks like he was on pace for.
No, I don't think so. Not this year. Maybe next year.
All right.
I've taken all road teams, but I can't in this next game. We got 2 home teams. The New York Giants, technically at the New York Jets, because the field will have a Jets logo. Well, I think they just do the NFL logo anyway. So technically a Jets home game.
Do they count this as a home game for the Giants?
No, I don't believe so. No. So it's kind of a nice nice little boost. Not that it's going to matter for them in the long run.
I feel like the Giants should have to play in London if they get the home game versus the Jets. That's the fair way.
But the thing is, like, it shouldn't count as a full home game for either of them. Really. It's because it's just half and half. And there's probably more Giants fans.
Yeah. I mean, they don't have to travel. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never thought about this before, though. That's what's kind of weird.
It is strange. Like, I
guess the Chargers and Rams, we've talked about it, but those are the only 2 cities, right?
Team, so who cares? Anyway, I'm taking the Giants. I still I like Daniel Jones. He turns the ball over too much, but hopefully he gets that sorted out. I think he's got one of the most nice-looking spirals in the NFL. If you watch that Golden Tate catch on Monday Night Football.
No, that was sweet.
The reason he was able to make that catch is because that ball just
so tight.
You can't not catch it. It's that tight.
It just spins right into the death grip of your big wide receiver hands.
Yeah, and like people think I'm joking, but having a nice tight spiral makes the ball so much easier to catch.
Yeah, as somebody who throws them, I know.
Yeah. You and I both. Yeah.
I mean, Daniel Jones, like, he looks like a quarterback. You know what I mean? When you watch him play.
Does.
And it's the mistakes he's making are, I think, correctable mistakes. It's like you just got to, once the game slows down for him a little bit, it looks like he'll be pretty good. And nobody was going to say that months ago.
No, and on the other side, we've got a team that is just like falling off of a cliff.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about the fact that they lost to the Dolphins.
Which it wasn't even particularly surprising.
No. I mean, if you've been watching the Jets, you know they are really, really bad.
At this point, maybe they lost on purpose to try to fuck
the
with
Dolphins?
the Dolphins tank.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm going to take the Giants too because I do think the Jets might actually be the worst team in the NFL.
At this current point in time, I think you're right.
Yeah, we'll see what Cincinnati does with their quarterback.
Yeah, with Ryan Finley, right?
Ryan Finley, yes. Oh, yeah. Falcons, Saints.
I think we can both agree that we're taking the Saints here.
Yeah, Saints are 13-point favorites. Alvin Kamara should be back on the field. We both like the Saints. Okay, Ravens, Bengals. Ravens favored by 10. We both like the Ravens here?
I like the Ravens.
I'll
say it. I like them.
I had to look up Ryan Finley's name because I'd already forgotten it again. So
he played at NC State for like 8 years.
He was a long-time player.
Yeah, he's like 32 years old.
He's like he should be Hunter Renfrow should be his receiver.
Right, yeah. They're probably brothers. They're twins or whatever.
AJ Green was possibly going to play. It looks like he's not going to play.
But why would he?
And now
really
Lamar
setting up Ryan Finley for success.
Yeah, he still had swelling or some shit. I did see that Ingram and Jackson are both on pace for 1,000 yards. Lamar Jackson has 637 rushing yards. Ingram 558. You think Jackson will get there before Ingram?
I think Ingram will catch up. I'm not sure if Ingram's played every game this season, so I think that has something to do with it. I might be wrong, but I think as they get closer to the playoffs, they'll probably just ratchet it down with the Lamar Jackson runs or tell them to take it easy and wait to bust those out when it really matters. Because I think they're set just about in the AFC North. I don't see Pittsburgh catching up. I think they've been fortunate recently and a couple of wins.
Yeah, we'll get to them in a minute.
Yeah, my question for you is: people have been talking about Lamar Jackson as a potential MVP. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I like those. I like that talk. I think.
Do you?
Well. When you think about like an MVP candidate, I think you have to consider like what that guy has meant for his team. And I think the Ravens are winning because of Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, they certainly wouldn't be 6-2 or whatever with Joe Flacco.
Yeah. So and he's really fun to watch. I think we need to see like another
make you the MVP, you know.
Yeah, I know. I think we need to see like another big passing performance from him.
Yeah, I think he's got a ways to go.
Getting Hollywood Brown back is going to help a little bit. He's already pretty good at utilizing like his tight ends, and I think just like the Bengals might be a good team for the Ravens to do like kind of more of a pass heavy attack
to beat up on.
Right. So. I think Lamar Jackson does mean a lot to that team, so I would put him up there. But really, I don't think I would put him ahead of Deshaun Watson right now or Russell Wilson.
I think he's like top 5 certainly, but and I'm tired of the MVP being a quarterback award. Right. I think Christian McCaffrey should be considered up there with any of the quarterbacks just because the fact that they've been 5-1 in the last 6 games is not because of Kyle Allen. It's because of Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
He's their best receiver and he's their best running back. And you talk about Lamar Jackson being a passer and a runner. Christian McCaffrey is a runner and a receiver just as much.
That's fair. I think
he's affecting the game. He's affecting the game more than a typical running back would. He's truly an offensive weapon like Le'Veon Bell tried to classify himself as. And he's consistent every week. The Panthers would probably be nowhere without him. That
I think that's
said,
fair.
I would put him in the same conversation as Russell Wilson right now. You have to have him up there. 22 touchdowns, 1 pick. That team's probably kind of bad without him. If
Yeah,
you put in
because
an
their
average
defense
quarterback in that
has not
situation.
been really good this year.
No, not at all. And then, right, Deshaun Watson, especially playing really well after losing J.J. Watt the last couple games. And we know it's a narrative award, too. So plays like getting kicked in the eye and
That
throwing a
helps.
touchdown,
That
those
helps.
things really help more than just raw numbers.
I think like the Deshaun Watson, because his escapability, I feel like, is on par with Lamar Jackson. But the difference is Lamar Jackson escapes and then like cranks out a 30 or 40-yard run. It's like Deshaun Watson escapes and then gets blasted, but right before he, makes an incredible pass downfield. So I feel like Deshaun Watson takes way too many hits still.
He does. He holds on to the ball a lot, but if you take that away from him, you're kind of changing that offense because he holds on to the ball so routes can develop and he can throw deep, which is what he's best at.
Yeah, kind of like Aaron Rodgers, but again, he just takes
Right.
too many shots, I think.
Yeah, he's probably got to find a middle ground where he's not
Yeah.
getting just absolutely destroyed.
But he has not a great offensive line as well. So
no, Tunsil's helped, but still not great. Really looking forward to the eventual. We get it again. We get it every year. It's gonna be Bills at Texans on Saturday afternoon in Houston. Somehow, the Houston Texans have that first wild card game on Saturday locked up. It's a beautiful. It's a tradition unlike any other. Not the Masters. It's wild card round in Houston,
and they're gonna lose.
And I can't wait. Probably.
And that's why we're both taking the Ravens.
Yeah, that's why we're taking the Ravens. Lions at Bears. Bears still favored by 2.5 for some reason. They don't deserve it.
Give me Detroit.
I'm going to take Chicago.
Crazy,
I need to take a home team. Okay. Fuck, no one cares about this game. Dolphins at Colts. Colts favored by 10. I think the Dolphins, they come down. I think they come back down to earth.
Yeah, they get back on track, start losing again. Jacoby Brissett could play. I think they're favored by 10 with Brian Hoyer as the projected starter. So
I don't think it matters, really.
No, and the Colts are kind of like in the same situation, I feel like, as the Chiefs. So if Brissett sprained his MCL and you don't have to play him this weekend, I don't. Like, Hoyer wasn't terrible.
He just made one.
He made one terrible pick six throw. But other than that, he was all right. So I would not start Jacoby Brissett. I would play Hoyer, and I'm going to take the Colts.
Yep, taking the Colts as well. Rams at Steelers, very interesting game. Super Bowl rematch from 1979.
God damn it.
I guess that's interesting. The Steelers are kind of getting it together behind Mason Rudolph, who I think is, it's hard to call him a fraud because he's a second-year quarterback, so that's a little strong. But I think he is going to get exposed a little bit, and I think the Rams win big.
Ooh.
Big, I tell you.
Yeah, this is interesting to me because I started to look at the Steelers again. They have won 3 games in a row. They've won 4 of their 5 last games. Outside of their week 1 33-3 loss to the Patriots, the teams that they've been beaten by are Seattle by 2 points, the Niners by 4 points, and the Ravens by 2. So I feel like Mike Tomlin's doing a pretty damn good job coaching the Steelers.
He is, yeah. Absolutely.
And I agree with you. I think they've kind of gotten lucky in some of their wins, but they've managed to keep every game close regardless of the competition. And
that's worth something.
Their defense is starting to play pretty good football. Minka Fitzpatrick's made a huge difference for their defense. Yeah. But the Rams are kind of like a good team in a desperate situation, I feel like. So I'm going to go with you and say the Rams win.
Yeah, and I'm always going to take with a really good coach like Sean McVay. I'm probably going to pick. I'm probably going to pick his team coming after a bye week.
Oh yeah,
because it
extra
feels
time
like he's
to
going to
prepare.
be prepared.
And Mason Rudolph's got a tough. Like Aaron Donald is not a good man to face if you're a young quarterback.
No, indeed, no. Let's talk about another young quarterback. How about Kyle Allen as the starter for the rest of the season in Carolina? This is interesting to me because
Panthers.
It's one thing to play
Packers.
well in like an indefinite stretch of time, but knowing that he's the starter the rest of the way and knowing that he's got a chance to take them to the playoffs, how does this affect his composure?
Yeah, I feel like
he's a lot more pressure.
I feel like he's poised for a terrible game.
I think you might be right.
This is a really good test for Kyle Allen. Not only is there more pressure because now he knows he's the starter, also the Packers are coming off of a game where they basically just played like garbage. And we've seen their defense play pretty good at times this year. I think they're going to play well against Carolina. I mean, I don't know. It's Christian McCaffrey. You got Christian McCaffrey to take the pressure off. But you're going against Aaron Rodgers. I feel like this is I don't know. When you brought up the stats that were similar between Kyle Allen and Gardner Minshew, I realized Minshew had almost 1,000 more passing yards than Kyle Allen. So I thought that was kind of interesting and kind of even more of a testament to Christian McCaffrey really being everything that's going right for the Panthers on the offense. But
I do always bring up that I think Kyle Allen has helped this offense in one particular way. It's because we know that Cam Newton has, he's a playmaker, but he has bad mechanics that affect his short passes particularly. Right. And Kyle Allen, he's not a big play guy like Cam. He's not as dynamic, obviously. But one thing he's good at is he's got good mechanics, and he puts those short passes in a place where McCaffrey can not only catch them, but catch them and run up the field with ease. So I think that's actually made a huge difference in their offense.
I agree. Hold on, Will. Somebody is at the door.
Oh, damn.
False alarm. Thought I had to sign for this package. Okay. You just went on about Kyle Allen.
Yeah, Kyle Allen.
I said I agree.
I agree.
I'm taking the Packers, though. I'm taking the Packers
too.
Damn it.
Okay. God damn it. Vikings at the fucking Cowboys on primetime again.
I couldn't believe this when I saw it.
Dude. Man. I can't pick Kirk Cousins in primetime. I can't do it, especially on the road. I would be going against everything I stand for if I picked the Vikings. So I have to pick the Cowboys. I don't want to do it. I feel bad about it. I'm pissed off that we are subject to this fucking godforsaken, boring-ass team again.
It's no wonder the Cowboys continue to make more money than any other team on earth. They get every primetime game. This is a good game in that I don't think the Cowboys are as good as – well, I think the Cowboys lost to the Jets. I don't think they're that bad, but I don't think
pretty hilarious.
I don't think they're as good as what people think they can be. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings. Adam Thielen's probably not going to play. Amari Cooper's getting an MRI on his knee. If he doesn't play, that really evens things out.
It does. But for me, the Kirk Cousins factor, until he wins a game in primetime, a big game in primetime, especially on the road, I won't pick him.
I feel like it's a good time for another big Dalvin Cook game. Feels like it's been a while since we've seen a really nice Dalvin Cook performance.
That would help him a lot. That would help him quite a bit.
Like the best running back early in the year, and then Christian McCaffrey kind of outpaced him.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, he had 300-plus yard games to start the season. Cook did just 71 and 98 in the last two. Well, he had 142 against the Lions. I feel like big Dalvin Cook game gonna beat the Cowboys.
Okay, so we differ on that pick. I don't know if we're going to differ on this one. I'm curious. It's the best game of the week. I think inarguably it may be one of the best games of the season so far.
The best game in history, bro.
Sunday night's game.
Yeah, Monday night finally gets a good matchup. Only to be
Seahawks
ruined.
At 49ers is what we're talking about here.
Yeah, we got Seahawks.
49ers are favored by 6 at home.
Yeah. Here's where I'm torn. I think all around Niners are a better team.
Yes.
Division game, though, everything kind of gets evened out a little bit, usually, I feel like.
Wonky. Yeah.
And the 49ers have to lose at some point. So it's like, do I pick them to lose this week, or do I wait like 2 weeks for their next tough matchup? I'm going to pick them to lose this week to the Seattle Seahawks. If Russell Wilson really wants that MVP status, he's got to beat the 49ers. And it's hard because I want to pick the 49ers. I think that defense is going to be tough, even for Russell Wilson. But they got to play bad 1 week.
Yeah, I was gonna take the Seahawks, but I'm not going to pick against the 49ers again until they lose a game.
Fair enough.
I feel like I'd be stupid to do that.
Their running game is going to be hard. I mean, both teams like to try to run first, right? So whichever team has success doing that early, I think is going to be the winner, but I don't know.
Right, and I trust the 49ers to contain the Seahawks running game more than the other way around.
Right. No, although the 49ers are a better team.
Defense showed a few holes against Arizona for sure, but that's, it's a kind of a throwaway Thursday night game. I don't really put too much stock into it.
Oh, they're on 10 days rest, aren't they?
They are.
Fuck it.
And the Seahawks just played an overtime game too.
Or Sunday overtime. That changes things for me. I'm gonna I'm taking the 49ers now.
Oh god damn. Got a copycat on our hands.
Sorry. No, I'll stick with the Seahawks.
He's doing it. Good. Have some balls, sir.
It goes against my guts. It goes against who I think's the better overall team, but I'm gonna take the Seahawks.
He's gonna do it.
There we go. Your boy Big T. Make sure you paid close attention to this episode.
He always does. He's a great friend of the podcast.
We'll update you on our pick records next week. Thanks for listening to the podcast. I don't know if it was actually any shorter today, but we did it.
Let's hope so.